Oh man, we live, baby. We live. We lit, baby. We lit. What's really good, family tree? If you're up in the building with me, you already know what I asked for. Just hit up the like button straight away. Today we're going into the ancient Egyptian book of the dead. We're going to be going into the hymn of Osiris. This is literally when you pull open your Egyptian book of the dead, right? It's literally the second chapter-ish, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, right? It's really a chapter, right? It's the second chapter. Let me call it that. The second chapter with inside of the Book of the Dead. So we're going to go in on that. Truth be told, I was in a two mind today to actually do the show or not. This is big boy information, to be honest with you. But, mate, there's so much going on. So, family train, it's hot as well. It's hot like hell up in here. So, yeah, anyways, last time we did a show, I would love for you guys to actually go back and check it out. Let's see if I can. We live, baby. Yeah. We did a show. Let's quickly see if I can pull this up right over here with the good brother Jonathan Owens and brother Asar M. Carr, who was going in, breaking down the Egyptian Book of the Dead, going straight from the Papyrus of Annie from the British Museum. And we're reading straight from the hieroglyphs themselves. Listen, that show was absolutely phenomenal. If you get a chance, please go and check it out. And if you missed out the past shows as well, there's some real good shows that's been pumping out so far. All right, let me stop all of that. Family tree, let me know that you're actually here with me as well. Hit up the like button. We've got some big things taking place, and trust me, you're going to be enjoying it. So yeah, Terry Smith says Speakers Corner. Go listen. We've got some Speakers Corner stuff coming up as well. All right, anyways, let me go into some stuff. Let me go into some work again. I'll get the family in on the chat to go in as well, but let's just go into the Book of the Dead. So, as we said last week, we did the Egyptian Book of the Dead with brother Jonathan Owens and Asar M. Carr, was breaking down straight from the Egyptian text itself. But today, I would love to just go through the English version with you, so you guys are, up to speed with what we're going through itself. Here we go. And let me know in the comment section, yeah, if you guys actually own a copy of the Ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. This is like a must. This has to be a must for most people, right? So last week we went in and we talked about the introductory hymn to the sun Ra. Today we're going to be going into the introductory hymn to Asar or Osiris. And here it goes. Let me actually read out the English version, and then we'll go into, we'll go into the English version. We can delve into it, right? Okay, so it's the worship of Ra when he rises in the eastern horizon of the sky. He says, Hail to you, you having come as Khepri, even Khepri, who is the creator of the gods. You rise and shine on the back of your mother, having appeared in glory as king of the gods. Your mother Nut shall use her arms on your behalf in making greetings. The Manu Mountains receive you in peace. Ma'at embraces you at all seasons. May you give power and might and vindication, and then coming forth as a living soul to see Arachati, to the spirit of. He says, "Oh, you gods of the soul mansion who judge sky and earth in the balance, who give food and provisions. Oh, Titanic, unique one, creator of mankind. Oh, southern, northern, western, and eastern Indians. Give praise to Ra, Lord of the sky, sovereign who made the gods. Worship him in his goodly form, or goodly shape, when he appears in a day bark. May those who are above worship you. May those who are below worship you. May Jehuti and Ma'at write to you daily. Your serpent foe has been given over to the fire. The rebel serpent has fallen. His arms are bound. Ra has taken away his movement. The children of impotence are no more. The mansion of the prince is in festival. The sound of shouting is in a great place. The gods are in joy when they see Ra and he's appearing. He's raised, flooding the land. Flooding the land. Where am I? Flooding the land. The majesty of this noble god proceeds. He has entered the land of Manu. The land is bright at his daily birth, and he has attained the state of yesterday. May you be gracious to me when I see your beauty, having departed upon the earth. May I smite the ass, may I drive off the rebel serpent, may I destroy a pep when he acts. For I have seen the Abju fish in the moment of his being, and the multi fish piloting a canoe on his waterways. I have seen Horus, his helmsman, with Jehuti and Ma'at beside him. I've grabbed hold the bow warp of the night bark and the stern warp of the day bark. Where are we? May he grant that I see the sun disk and behold the moon unceasingly every day. May my soul go forth to travel to every place which it desires. May my name be called out, and may be found at the board of offerings. May there be given me loaves in the presence like the followers of Horus. May a place be made for me on the solar bark on the day when the god ferries across, and may I be received in the presence of Asar. or Osiris in the land of vindication. Okay, so that is it right there. Yeah, that's the hymn. We was going through it, but we actually went through it via. Let me see if I can show you guys. So we was doing that. That's the English version, right? But we was going through this over here. Okay, over here we was going straight from the hieroglyph last week, and we was just reading it out. We was going from each bit. Let me actually make that a bit bigger so you guys can see it. There you go. Yeah, so we was going through it, reading from the hieroglyph, showing you everything. We're showing you this is how you read it. Obviously, this is the rubric, red writing right here that gives you the instruction what's taking place. This is like dua, which means worship or praise. And then it's telling you over here, it's to Ra. And then over here it says when he rises. And then over here in the eastern heaven or the eastern skies, eastern horizon of the sky, said by, let me just quickly go down, Asar, right here. This is symbol for Asar. This is Osiris, sorry. For those of you who know the Greek rendition, this is the person who we're going to be discussing today. Osiris, the scribe of the holy offerings or the divine offerings of all the Necheru or all the divinities, Anui. Okay, so we basically went through it. We went through a few of these lines and we just broke it down. But of course, I'm not going to do all that today because that will be so draining and time consuming. I just want to go into some quick information and get out of here as soon as possible. Okay, so family tree, again, if you're enjoying the show so far and ready to hear some grand information, let me know in the comment section that you're enjoying the show. Hit up the like button, share it to your family and your friends, baby. Come on, you already know what we do. It's Titans TV, baby. So yeah, all right. So anyways, let's go into this. So what most people don't know, actually, let me see, what don't people know about this particular Book of the Dead and the hymns? Okay, so let me start there. When we're talking about these hymns, right, this is literally when you open up a Book of the Dead, right, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Let me see, can I show it to you? Do you know what? Can I show it to you? Let's see it. No, I don't think I can. Okay, next time I'll show it to you anyway. Next time I'll show it to you. But anyways, yeah, when you open up the Egyptian Book of the Dead, literally, like when you open it up, it's the very first chapter. It has these hymns. And the reason why it has these hymns, it's not even the reason why. It has these hymns because when you go into a tomb, if you've ever had the chance to go into the tombs in Egypt today, the kings, the nobles, and so forth, right? Oh my days, they're so beautiful. If you go down there, you'll see it, right? But right at the front entrance of these tombs, most of these tombs will have, on the eastern side, they'll have a hymn. They'll have a hymn to Ra when he rises in the east, and then they'll, on the western side or the right hand side, they'll have a hymn to Ra when he sets, right? So these two hymns became actually standardized during the New Kingdom. Yeah, during the New Kingdom, they actually became standardized and kind of seeped out into the general populace as well. These hymns were literally the daily ritual. How can I put it? You see how Muslims, they have their prayer and they pray at certain times every single day. This was it. In ancient Egypt, they had these hymns that they would sing every single day to kind of mimic the temple cult rituals that was taking place, right? So the outer community had the opportunity to participate as well, which is absolutely amazing, right? So you have these two things going on. But something else was introduced, which was the Osirian prayer, or the Osirian hymns, or the Osiris hymns themselves, right? And this particular hymn, or this section where they're giving praise to Osiris or Asar, was to bring in that element that nobody likes to discuss and talk about, which is death. Something that is going to happen to every single one of us. Not me, though. But every single one of you will taste and experience death. Not me. But every single one of you will taste and experience death. And the ancient Egyptians quite rightly recognized death as a divine force in nature. that is completely necessary in nature. Although they despised it, they understood that it was something that was completely necessary in nature to take place. And they constructed a whole, how can I put it, constellation attached to the death mythos of Osiris or Osar, dying. You know, he's how can I put it, dismembered bodies being reunited and you know, being given life again so that one could actually live again. But the ancient Egyptians were quite aware that, you know, once a person actually dies, and once they die, there isn't a physical return. Once you die, let me just repeat that again. Yeah? The ancient Egyptians fully well knew that once you physically die, there wasn't any returning back in however many years, right? They never had that conceptualization. They had the conceptualization of, we want to remain and preserve ourselves on this earth for as long as possible, right? For as long as humanly possible. And Osiris literally embodies that principle of Jet. What do we call Jet now? We call Jet eternal sameness. Let's call it eternal sameness, right? Whereas Ra represented the principle of eternal reoccurrence. Ra was the symbol of life, continuously the ebbs and flows of life, whereas Osiris literally represented the standstill of life, like the endurance of something. Everything that was built with monuments or stone, right, was for endurance, to stay the test of time, right? Whereas things built out of wood and other stuff like and mud bricks are perishable items that can easily, you know, go in and out. But things built out of stone and etched with the sacred writings, that is for time immemorial. That is not even time immemorial. That is for eternity, basically. So it's a very beautiful, you know, concept that was introduced to ancient Egypt in the myth of Asar. And in speaking on Asar, I'm gonna bring in my good brother Asar and Car right now. Oh man, I see scattered minds up in the building with me. Well. Listen, family tree, let me let you know from now, yeah, I am sweating. I don't know what the temperature is out here in the UK, but it is a mausoleum, absolute mausoleum. All right, brother Asar, this is your namesake. Talk to me, King.
Man, ETEM attack son. Uncle Jet, Uncle Johnson. I forgot you was doing the show. You know, they doing the sentencing right now. So
boy, I
yeah,
don't even want to I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
with
we
you.
not even go.
I was there from the get-go listening into it, and I said, you know, that just deflated me, to be honest with you. Yeah, that deflated me. When it was going on live at the time, it was around 3-4 my time and about 11 or 10 your time, and I was like, ugh, yeah, this ain't the one. But so yeah, let's kick some knowledge.
So this is about that soul and your soul. What happens in the judgment? What happens in the hereafter? And for my Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, this is some of the earliest information that the people are thinking about when it comes to traveling to the next world, to the next life. And really, it's not a new world. What are we talking about? We're talking about the transformation of energy. And so in the book, it often uses transformation. You're going to transform into this this bird with wings with a human head. That's how they showed it. But truthfully, they're just talking about energy traveling and transforming. Um, I'll give you some comfort because a lot of people, they think, what's going to happen when I die? That's the first thing you think of in your mind, right? You always think, oh, when I die, what happens? What? And so you probably come up in either Europe or America, and you probably came up in either a Muslim or Christian household. So you've been fed, if you do good, you're going to go to heaven. If you do bad, you're going to go to hell. This is based off of this original situation. This is before the heaven and the hell. There was the Amduat. And so the hellfire, you find it in the Amduat. The water is drinkable for the righteous and those who know the hymn. And you can, like I said, it's serviceable to you. You can drink it, you can swim in it. They show different people doing so. They show Osiris people watching. But the goal in life is to become an Asar, is to be judged as righteous. What did Asar represent? Number one, he represented the ancestors. Number two, he represented knowledge, guidance, and unity. He was the one in the mythos that would go out and talk to different countries and different locales and show them how to grow crops, show them how to create peace, give them medunecha. Him and Arset would teach the people as well as Asar. And Arset was known for giving knowledge. So your goal is to become an Asar when you pass away. Now, once you pass away and you transform, there are different things in your life that you should have picked up as a Shemsu, a follower of Necha, in order to make your journey safe in the afterlife. The afterlife, what was it? It looks similar to ancient Egypt as they describe it. So when you look in the book of Coming Forth by Day, you're going to see like big trees, big wheat, a lot of grass, a lot of cereal was happening, a lot of bread. Like I said, the original recipe for cornbread, you can find it in one of the tombs. Those are called the cakes of Asar. Dancing, enjoyment, all of those things are to take place if you are righteous, if your heart was balanced with the feather. So as you go through this life, the lesson here is to make sure that you give good deeds. When you look at some of the sesh and you look at some of their inscriptions on the tomb, it says, I am one who never spoke evilly. I am one who never wronged the people. I am one who never did this. I am the Asar so-and-so. So these are the things that you want to keep in your mind, being righteous, being in Ma'at, not just the 42 laws, but the additional laws. When you read Ankh Shashank, when you read Patahatep, when you read Henny, when you read the different sesh who left information for their children to follow so that they could have a good afterlife, so they could be Ma'akeru, true of voice. So as you become true of voice and start on that journey, and I'm gonna end it here. Come on, come on, like yo. So when you become true of voice, the first thing that said, like you seen us reading the other day, the Jehuti priest is reading to you, giving you your rights, telling you your ma'akeru. Then you start that journey. Once you start that journey, you go to wait on that ferry boat. When you wait on that ferry boat has been demonized. So when you watch Clash of the Titans, you see Karaman, I believe they call him. He goes to pick you up and takes you over there to where Calibus is at. So you're seeing ancient Egyptian myth being demonized by Greek mythos. But in reality, he came over to ferry you on the boat, and you were asking him to do it. You wanted to go and needed to go. Yeah, brother, please. And he's making excuses because he's kind of lazy in the mythos. It's like and it goes into a mystery about your hands if you're a magician. So and I'll teach that mystery one day. We'll do it on one of the channels, so you can understand the 36 parts of the boat, and understand how those 36 parts of the boat deal with your hand and deal with you not hiding your hands and being righteous and having worked Heka. These are the things that you should know. But going across on that boat means your soul is going to start the journey. Go ahead, Brother Kalam.
All right. So yeah, as I was saying, that we was going through the Book of the Dead. We started off last time round. We gave you an introductory hymn to the sun god Re, and we was going through the hieroglyphs. Today we're going to go through it. We're going to go through the introductory hymn to Osiris, but we're going to read the English version, right? We're going to read the English version, and I definitely want to speak upon. This is a hymn, right? So it's one of the praises or adorations that was given to Osiris. But right at the end of it, there is actually a prayer or a request or a supplication. And I would really love to, dig into these supplications to see what was it that the ancient Egyptians desired from life in the end. Okay, so it says here, worship of Osir, Winefer, the great God who dwells in the Thinat known, King of eternity, Lord of everlasting, who passes millions of years in his lifetime, firstborn of Nut, begotten of Geb, heir, Lord of the Weret crown, whose white crown is tall, sovereign of gods and men. He has taken the crook and the flail, and the office of his forefathers. May your heart, which is in the desert land, be glad for your son Horus, Haru or Hor, is firm on your throne, while you have appeared as Lord of Osiris, as the ruler who is in Abydos. The two lands flourish in vindication because of you in the presence of the Lord of all, Nebuchadnezzar. Where are we? There we go. All that exists is ushered into him, in his name, of face to whom men are ushered. The two lands are marshaled for him as leader in this his name of Sakar. His might is far-reaching, one greatly feared in this his name of Asar. He passed over the length of eternity in his name of Winefer. Hail to you, King of kings, Lord of lords, ruler of rulers, who took possession of the two lands, even in the womb of Nut. He rules the plain of Sidon land, even he, the golden of body, blue of head, and whose arm is turquoise. O pillar of myriad, broad of breast, kindly of countenance, who is in the sacred land. And I'm going to just pause there, right? So we're going through a hell of flattery and and adoration, talking about how great he is, all of the how can I put it, all of his accolades that he's achieved in this world, etc., etc., etc. Right now,
Absolutely.
let's go into the supplications. Right. So right
Hold
here,
up, before we go there, brother, let's preface that. So the person they're talking about going to this is the king. This is one of the Nasut Bitties making the transition. So when you read stuff like the pyramid text or what he just read in particular, this is talking about the king. It can also be preference to the people, but in this particular case, this is talking about the king. And Annie's book of Coming Forth by Day is put together of his and several other people's. This particular verse is covering a king, and it can also be used for a sesh like Annie is, a scribe.
So here it is. Here's a supplication. May you grant power in the sky, might on earth, and vindication in the realm of the dead. A journeying downstream to Osiris as a living soul, and a journeying upstream to Abydos as a heron, to go in and out without hindrance. At all the gates of the netherworld, may there be given to me bread from the house of cool water and a table of offering from the Heliopolis, my toes being firmly planted in the field of rushes. May the barley and emmer which are in it belong to the spirit of Asar, such and such. And over here as well, this is from Ra. This is the prayer to Ra as well. It's basically the same thing, but let me just not basically the same thing. Let me just read you this supplication. It says here, may he grant that I see the sun disk and behold the moon unceasingly every day. May my soul go forth to travel to every place which it desires. May my name be called out. May it be found at the board of offerings. May there be given to me loaves in the presence, like the followers of Horus. May a place be made for me in the solar bark on the day when the god ferries across, and may I be received in the presence of Asar in the land of vindication. So go ahead.
Yeah, he says a lot right there.
A lot. There is a lot to break down. There's a lot to break down, but I love the fact that we have a hymn, right? We have these hymns, right? That is stated literally as soon as you walk into the tomb. You're going into the land of Asar right now. We're reciting these hymns, and we're asking, after the hymn is done, you're asking for this favor upon this particular spirit, upon this particular deceased individual, to have all the blessings that these gods can offer them. And
Absolutely. So up top, he's talking about Bucharest and Abju, which is the two places where Asar were ventured at. And when he passes away and Set puts his body in the coffin, the river carries him to Bucharest, where his body ends up on the shore. It gets mounted inside of a tree. That tree grows really strongly. Set gets wind of this from some of the people that she had around, because of course she was a ruler, and her sisters, Selkat and some of the other female Necharu who were with her, they go down to this location, and when they go down to Bucharest, they ask the king and the queen if they can chop that tree down because the body of her husband is in it. And so that's why the deceased is going to ask you, can I go to I would like to go to Bucharest. I would like to go to Abju. I would like to be in the places of Asar. I would like to eat of the cakes. I would like to eat that golden barley. The Egyptians love cereal. They love bread. In fact, when they refer to the Necharu and a lot of things as a conglomerate, meaning a group, they call it the pa'ut, which is like doughy cake. So everything is a pa'ut. Everything is a doughy cake. Everything is that. You let me see that bottom hymn you had. There it is. The other thing I always tell you guys this. They always look at the sky. So it says there, may he grant that I see the sun disk and behold the moon unceasingly every day. Because watching the sun travel across the sky, pastime of ancient people. Watching that moon, that beautiful moon at nighttime, pastime of ancient people. Things you did before you had a television. You're an astronomer in ancient times. You're telling stories about the moon. You're telling stories about the sun. This is how the mythos comes to be. So when we talk about these different things, which this person wants to see every day unceasingly, may my soul go travel to every place which it desires. He told you the places which he desires to travel. That house of cool water. I want to drink that good water. I want to be in Heliopolis or Inu, if you will, which is called the land of the sun folk. That's where the myth of Asar are Set, Nebuchadnezzar, and Elder Heru takes place. In Inu. These are the things you know when you start to read the stories, know what's going on. And so when they're saying these prayers, it's not foreign to you. You know this is a place in Africa, in ancient Egypt, where gatherings took place. These are the sun folk. This is what it is. The Shemsu Heru, the followers of Heru. That's what he wanted to be. In the land of vindication. The field of reeds, it said above. Field of rushes. That's the Aru. That golden field. You're looking at all that cereal. You're looking at all that cake to be made, and it's all yours. And that's what you want. This is the idea of the ancient Egyptian mind. You can liken it to things like The Hobbit, when you see Bilbo Baggins just wants to sit, smoke his pipe, and sit in the grass and watch the wind blow. And this is the same thing. At ease, tranquility.
Jeez, I love it. So yeah, we've got that going on. So for me, I love it because you can see that the bits of the human being that's been left behind, that they want to see the light of day again. So in here it talks about, let me see where let me go from here. I don't know if you can see right here. Okay, anyways. It says here, may my name be called out, may it be found at the board of offerings. See, one of those things within inside of ancient Egypt or Kemet itself was the name, the Ren, was very powerful. That represented your identity of who you are. As long as my name lives, I live too, because that allows my, my name carries weight on road, fam. You know the way there, like if you say a certain man's name, you know it carries weight. You can, in the name of, in the name of Asar M. Khan, in the name of
That's
Callum
right.
L, you already know that name carries weight on road. It can move mountains, right? And it's also saying here, make me found the board of offerings. Okay, so one of those things as well is
The
they
prayer
wanted the
table.
car, this the
Yeah.
yeah, the car to stay alive by the offerings that were given to them. You know, can you like sit down, dine with me, remember my name, put me in your thoughts, etc. That helps a person to live. May they be
Yes.
given to me loaves in the presence, like the followers of Horus. Right there, this for me is talking about the statues. There was the private mortuary statues or the private statues that were actually in the temples at times. So what there was a reversion of the offerings ceremony that took place. So all the offerings that were given by the followers of Horus, which would be the priesthood, to the different deities or to the deity himself. Afterwards, everybody else within inside of the temple would be able to feast on the gods' food, basically. And to me, that's just saying, yeah, I want to be there. I want to be in the presence, of the God, like the followers of Horus, receiving all the divine offerings. Also, may a place be made for me on the solar bark on the day when the God ferries across. Right again, in the God.
Oh yeah. May I be in that number when the saints come marching in. Y'all know what that's. Y'all know what it is. So, and you look at, and this is why we were both saying he said a lot right there, because what happened when the first thing we did something with no disrespect. This is non-Abrahamic faith ish. When Tamir Rice died, when our little brother out here died, Elijah McClain, and I'm out here with my partner Taj, and we're organizing the march, and y'all are seeing us on the news here in Colorado. When the other people are passing away out here from police brutality, we took you to something that was African this time. We said, say their name. I said it at the march. Taj carried it. We had preachers saying it. They later go back and say, "Oh, yeah, we probably shouldn't have did that." No, you should have did that. Reminded you of your Africanness and what's most powerful. Keep their names alive so that they stay in your remembrance. You think about them and you can reflect on the things that they left for you when they had knowledge that was very important and emporial to your life. So if a Martin Luther King passes away, we don't let them take his memory away. That's why they killed him, to try to erase his memory. You say their name to keep them alive. We say Malcolm X's name to keep him alive. We say Marcus Garvey's name to keep him alive. And not just him, his essence, his aura, what he meant, the things he said. So now you go reflect on the things that they used to teach that were righteous, and it instills that guidance in you, and it makes you strong in faith, mindset, and goal. And then you can take on the world because the ancestors have left knowledge for you and they have your back. So when your grandmother passes, you cry, you're sad, but the first thing you do is you start to reflect. You start to reflect on the lessons they taught you. This is the importance of saying the name. This is the importance of the deification of the people. This is the importance of the statue building of this person, because they were great. This is why you have a Frederick Douglass or whoever in the middle of your squares. Faith Davis, yes, he was similar in several different ways, more than Heru, in fact. But we'll talk about that later. This is why you talk to your ancestors, because what they left for you and the way you deify them keeps a reminder for you of who you are. Remember who you are and be an Asar. This is one of the reasons I tell you this, because if you're an Asar, you're your ancestors, and your ancestors are you, and you keep that eternal flame flowing. And when you have children, guess what? It was at my partner's funeral, Felix. I usually pour libations for my brother Felix, not in the house I'm at now, but where I used to be. And when he passed away so suddenly, so strange, I'm talking to his family and I'm saying, we're looking at you for the next Felix. We're looking to see which one of your children act like Felix, because we'll know that soul is with us again. We'll know that presence is with us again, because we know it's in your DNA to reproduce another one. And so you'll always notice when you pass away, your little cousin act like so-and-so uncle. Your little brother act like so-and-so daddy of the family. So-and-so acts like grandmama such and such, just like her. Those are you reproducing that line over and over and over again. It's continual. Deify the name.
You know what? I wanted to know, yeah. You see the ancient Egyptians, Cometians, whatever name, I don't know what people want to say, right? Was there any, how can I put it, memorial rites or rituals that were done on a frequent basis, maybe a daily, monthly, weekly, I don't know. Was there anything like that going on for
Like
the
prayers?
remembrance of the dead? Yeah.
Oh yeah, prayers all the time.
Or libations or whatever
yeah.
the case is. Because I would love to
About
give people some practical things as well.
Oh yeah, and once they get the prayer, that's what locks people into a faith, because now you're talking directly to Necha. Now you're talking to Jesus. Now you're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you're praying. Egyptians would pray generally the basic prayer about 4 times a day. Now they say this didn't appear to be always regular. The Egyptologists say that, but then we turn around and we read from the Greeks who were there. They say they appeared to be the most religious people on the planet. All they did was pray. All they did was talk to spirits in the sky. All they did was talk to, you know what I'm saying? Because they seen the world as animated. They see it with more vigor and love than other people do. So much to the point they called the language Medu Necha, tongue of God. That's what that means literally. Medu Necha. Medu, tongue, Necha, what you guys would consider God or nature. So it's the tongue of nature that you speak with. We call the hymns that we read, you call them the text. We go to the text, but we call them the Ba'u Emra, the souls in Ra. We're reading souls of Ra. How many souls does it say Ra had? 14. Who was the soul of Ra? Asar. Who was the heart of Ra? Jehuti. Notice how everything associated with the Necha is also associated with your body. So when you did the washing, we would recite the parts of the body. My hair is the hair of Nu. My phallus is the phallus of Asar. My buttocks is the buttocks of Set. My arm is, you understand what I'm saying? So we would deify our bodies, similar to, and we'll make the correlations. It said, didn't I say ye are gods amongst men? Didn't Jesus tell the people that? He wants you to act like a Necha. Here, we are Necha. In the coffin text, it says, I eat, I drink, I make love, I defecate. I am a Necha. I am a God. Some people don't like to say manure is associated with God, but then you turn around and you want your food to grow right. And guess what you use to make your food go right? you plant it in manure. You use that cow manure, don't you? And this makes your crops better, doesn't it? Everywhere. It smells like cow dung on the farm. You know why? Because your food is being grown in dirt and cow dung because of the nitric acid that's associated with it. So just one man's junk is another man's treasure. Foolish. Only those who think too proudly would say manure is no good when God made it for for you to come out of you and to be reused. And the process goes over and over and over again for everything. Everything, everything. And so look at the sisters right there. The sun is between them. If we start at the top, you see the brother giving praise. You see he's got his table in his house, probably his kerah. It's a little blurry, so I can't tell what table it is. He's giving praise right there, and that appears to be Heru. And then you've got the boat behind it. Probably the octet boat, one of the boats. And you got Necharu in there. And it appears to be set at the back of the boat. My eye is in the middle of the boat. I can't make out the others because it's a little blurry. Looks like Asar is in the middle of the boat. Right after Ma'at. And I'm just doing this from the fly. I ain't get to plan this out. I just know this because we take the time to study the information like you take the time to study the other information. So when Dr. Ben and them were trying to wake you up and you're still over there in your other books, we've been in this book over here. So it's not unfamiliar for me. It's just unfamiliar for you because you don't use it. I said it on the video, Brother Kalam. I said, when will you use it? I'm asking the people because if you don't pick it up, you'll never know. And my brother to Hieroglyph said, you'll never know. And so you don't know because you don't go visit it. It'll stay unfamiliar till you pick it up. Some of you don't even know your Bible. You don't even read that. So how can I expect you to go to something African when you think your own is foreign to you? If you're Greek,
Please.
if you're European.
Hey, family tree, hold on. Wait a second. Family tree, are you hearing this information? I just want to know if you are. Please hit up the like button right now. Yeah, support Titans TV. We've got more power bangers shows like this coming up. So come on, hit the like button, hit the support button. Let everybody know that you're tuned in right now to Titans TV. Let me just let you know something quickly. I've got some shows coming up. Let me just make sure I hit you up with some of these shows. Jeez. Hey, okay. There's a show coming up here called Your Prophet is False. Here is why. Did God reveal or are you deluded? My religion is better than yours. Free power shows coming up for discussions, right? So if you want to discuss, this is my Christians and Muslims, we're putting out the claim out. So we wanted you to prove that your prophet is true. So can you prove it? There is a claim out there that your prophets are false. So, can you defend your prophets? It's another one here, in terms of your revelations, did God really reveal these things or are you just deluded, right? Is there such thing as revelations? What are revelations, etc., right? Another one is we're discussing the message. So my religion is better than yours. Fight me, prove me different, prove me wrong. So I want to know, is your religion better if you're Muslim? Why is your religion better? Same with Christians, etc., etc., etc. We're doing those types of shows to get you lot engaged. And we've got some special stuff coming up, some Speakers Corner stuff coming up. So family tree, stay tuned. We're getting in. Is the Eye of Ra 11?
11 is a number. I'm not sure what you mean, sis. It actually has parts that are broken up. The Eye of Heru, if you will, Horus. Those parts are measurements to the cubit, which is usually your arm length, as well as your fingers and different things as well. And it's also measurements for land, stots of land, as they used to call it. So a stot of land would be a determinative based off of that measurement of eye. That is an actuality. But yes, every time you say grace, this is your original form of saying grace. You see him giving praise before his food, thinking of the Necharu, thinking of his Aku, his ancestors and the different Necharu that make the different gods that make up your universe. He's giving praise and veneration to those. This is the original form of saying grace. Not only that, he's gonna have a good dinner after that. He's gonna eat well, and he's gonna remember the lessons of how he got that food, which were taught to him by his ancestors. At this time, most of them were fishing or hunting. This is simplified life back in the day.
I wanted to give a breakdown of these hymns that we're reading out. And again, that is literally these hymns, right? If you go into places like Clement of Alexandria, you'll see that in terms of the priesthood, if you was to become a priest in ancient Egypt, right, you would realize that the hymns were literally the first lessons you would take. After learning the hieroglyphs, this is the first lessons. There is these books that you must carry, because with inside of the hymns, you're going to learn a lot of the cosmography. You're going to learn a lot about the theology of the time as well. So it's very, very powerful. You know, this is like the beginners, right? So anyways, it says over here, this particular imagery here, yeah, was misnomered or mislabeled chapter 16 in the Book of the Dead. Actually belongs to all of the books, all of the hymns that we've been reciting so far, which is chapter 15. It belongs to chapter 15 of the Book of the Dead. It belongs to the hymns of Ra. As you can see here, you've got the two sisters, Aset and Nebthet, praising Ra, nursing Ra, and so forth. Then you've got obviously the baboons, which are the holy baboons, which represent Jehuti, but they also represent the priesthood within inside of Kemet. And we see that on each side, you've got them adoring Ra. And of course, up here, yeah, I wonder, you know, this is pretty unique in the sense that this right here is a Sa, and I wonder then, based upon the normal mythology, because this looks like a set, but it can also be Ma'at, and it will fit nicely. This is Ma'at, right, and then the beak could be Jehuti. I thought the beak over here, because it looks like there's a beak, but it's not very clear. But anyways, let me quickly go into this here. It says here, it is an act illustration of Sun Hymn chapter 15, and as a goal of preceding sequence of chapters. Earlier on in Ramesside papyri in particular, a depiction of sunrise or sunset, the full height of the papyrus roll, may open or close a manuscript. Remember, I was talking about the sunrise hymns and the sunset hymns. All right. It says here, marking the goal of the entire book as resurrection with Ra every day. Right, that is the purpose of this chapter here, is for the resurrection with Ra every day. Whereas in the late period and the Ptolemaic period manuscripts, it follows the initial sequence, chapter 1 to 15, and marks the goal of the funeral procession depicted above them. Right, so technically speaking, it is the same thing, even though one is saying it's the goal of the funeral procession, which is definitely for the resurrection of your soul anyway, or of your being. So it's very interesting to know that this is what these hymns are actually for and towards. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. What is the difference? What's the difference between Osiris, Horus, and Ra?
So Asar, in fact, let me take one of the old hymns. Let me see if I can grab it. Asar is yesterday because it's the past. Ra is today, as the hymn would tell you. So you live as Ra. You live like Heru. You're a Shemsu Heru. You follow Heru, and you live off of your father's teachings, Asar, which is yesterday. Those are the seeds that were planted for you that you follow in order to make your new today. So Ra is basically, if we look, there's anthropomorphic, and there's also celestial, and there's also personal, and there's also the physical. Let's touch all of them. Ra is the sun. Ra is also a representation of the universe. In his form of Amun Ra, he is the universe. It's two Necharu together, two ideas of God put together to converse about the entirety of life, the universe. He's also a falcon. Picture him flying high in the sky. We consider his boat to be the sun. It traverses the sky daily. When it's in the first risings of the morning, it's little Haru being born. It says the redness of the sky is the blood of our set covering you, which is why you're protected, and why you see that ankh that looks like it has arms and feet. That's the buckle of our sets that she puts on, and there's hymns for that say you're covered in the blood of Haru, or you're covered in the blood of our set, so you're protected. Pardon me. When he gets to the sky, he's Haru, Behudet, the protector, going forth, crashing against the enemies. These are the different myths concerning the waking of the morning and that redness of the sky. The redness is the blood of his enemies as he slays the people of Set who have transgressed against his father Asar. When he's in the middle of the day, he's something. When he goes to the bottom of the day, he's old man Ra, tired, ready to rest. And then he takes his journey through the night bark, which is going through the Amduat, seeing the different locations of the people who have passed away during the day and over time, covering the night part of the sky, only to rise again and do it all over again. All right. What is Asar? Asar represents the vegetation, the trees. This is why you hear him call him a corn god. They call him a tree god. He represents birth, knowledge. During Kaher Ka, which is one of the months in the year, they would take onions, the onion festival. They would wear a bunch of onions on their neck and eat the onions, the teeth of Asar. They would bury plants in bodies of Asar and watch them grow because he represents regeneration. They would put the phallus in some of the plants, showing that, look, he's being born again. Aset and Nebuchadnezzar, his sisters, are calling him back to life. And then there's a song. It's called the Song of the Two Sisters. And in the song, they're calling Asar back to life. Why are they calling him back to life? Because just like the vegetation dies during the winter months, when that winter solstice hits, we know that the days will start to get longer as opposed to shorter. And so they start to call him back to life during that time. And as they call him back to life, the days get longer, the days get warmer, and life starts to come back. That's the purpose of that song, that festival in particular, and the winter solstice. You see the Greeks did the Saturnalia. And you've seen eventually the Christians come up with December 25th for Christmas, the birthing of Christ. And this is what that winter solstice represents. This is the Kaher Ka days. And right after Kaher Ka, you start to go into the later parts of the year. And you start to, like I said, you start to see life coming back as opposed to dying during winter. And that's what Asar represents. He represents knowledge and regeneration of life. He's also you. It represents your soul. And when your soul passes away, we call you an Asar. You always see Osiris, and then you see the letter N. The N represents you. Whoever you are, that will be your name when you pass away. And we write on your vigil, or we write on your mastaba, or we write on the papyrus a spell for you. We write a hymn for you, celebrating your life, judging you true of voice, being ma'akeru, true of voice, being righteous, deified, respected, and loved for leaving knowledge and leaving your persona with us, and for passing that soul on if you have children. That is what Asar is. Haru, well, we covered that. Haru and Ra are pretty much the same thing. Asar is that.
Okay, let me see what Israel is saying. Israel, what are you saying, King?
Peace. I just wanted to come on. I really ain't got much to say. I appreciate the fact that he told everybody about that winter solstice. It's also a summer solstice and stuff.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. That's when that new year starts to come around. Usually in March, I believe, is the summer solstice. But the new year is the birthing of our set, when our set starts to come into play. Our set is the star that comes, it's called Sirius now, and it was called Sepdot. Sepdot rises helically, meaning in the eastern horizon, right before the sun. So you'll see it, then you'll see the sun come after it. Once it does that helical rising, it'll do that for about 10 days. And then another star will have its helical rising in the same place. That happens for about 360 times throughout the year. And that's how we ended up getting our original year.
Okay. Listen, big man. It's a hard one for me today, you know. Today. Yeah. Because I want to go in, yeah, but I can't go in.
You look hot,
So
brother.
I'm gonna have this, bro. I am hot. I am super hot. I'm tired. Yeah, a lot has gone on today, and we're gonna talk off air, right? But I'm not even in the energy to do the show right now. I'm not even in the energy. So, in that being said, I'm gonna say to you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We gave you guys a breakdown of some stuff. We're gonna have some new shows coming up on Friday. We've got a show on Friday for you guys, discussion shows, so you lot can come on through. It's gonna be roughly the same time, 8 p.m. UK time, GMT, and that would roughly be around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. So Family Tree, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Please, hit the share button. Let everybody know, Times TV's back. And I'm seeing, only a small portion of my community. I was like, out of 1,000 people who's watched the stream, only 55 people are getting it by the notifications. So if you can, Family Tree, turn on that bell notification, if you haven't already, to get updated when anytime we've got a new show coming in. But for now, I'm going to have to sign out. I'm going to catch you on another one. Peace and love, family. Peace and love.
Peace. I'm going to tell